Hello, welcome to Rita's Paper Motif. I'm Rita. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I wanted to share with you how to make this explosion box. And I have several examples I want to share with you, and we'll make one today. And I also have a variation of this box, so stay tuned. And before we get started, just cover a few things, and that is the reason that I'm sharing these explosion boxes is because it's the first day or day one of my Christmas fair. So starting today, November 1st of 2022, I'm going to share with you different projects that you can create at home or packages for those projects, and then you can share them with the people on your Christmas list. So we know that Christmas should never be so stressful to our budget or even time-wise, but there's nothing better than a homemade gift that comes to us with thought and planning. So I'm just going to give you some options in the next, well, today and then the 11 days that follow. So today, being day one, is the explosion box, and tomorrow will be another option. I don't want to tell you yet, it's a surprise. But to find out where I'm going to share these projects with you and what I'm sharing each day, I'm encouraging you to go to ritaspapermotif.com. If you click that event tab at the top of my website, it'll take you to my calendar, and you'll be able to see what I'm sharing, what day, and what platform. Now, I did want to just share with you also, even though I just said that most everything you can find the directions, pictures, and materials that you'll need on my blog. So that would be at ritaspapermotif.com. It does take me a day or two to get all those things up on the blog, but they'll definitely be there for you. And this will also give you plenty of time if you wanted to recreate anything to get it done before Christmas. Okay, so while you're at the website too, there is one other place that I will be sharing tutorials and projects, and that's on my weekly newsletter. To get on my weekly newsletter list, you'll need to go to the home page of the website at ritaspapermotif.com, and there at the bottom of that page you have the opportunity to sign up for my newsletter. And as always, if you like this content, go ahead and hit the like button at any time. We like those thumbs up and hearts, definitely do. And then if you want to see more content, because I'll be doing some more projects here on YouTube, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And then if you also hit the bell icon, YouTube will let you know when I've uploaded new material. All right. So I really think we need to get started now. So as I said, we're recreating an explosion box. Now, the very cool thing about explosion boxes is that when you open up the box, I'm not going to open this because it has a gift in the middle, and I don't want the person who I'm giving it to know what's inside it. So just you'll see as we create one. But once you take the lid off, all the sides fall down, and then whatever gift you've put in the middle is then exposed. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to tell you what you'll need to create a explosion box like this or this size, and that is you'll need a 7.5 by 7.5 piece of cardstock or designer series paper. Now this happens to be a blue. This is cardstock I have in my stash. It is a color that has retired, but I'd like to use it up, so I am going to use it for this explosion box that we make today. So you'll need a 7.5 by 7.5 square, and that could, like I said, that could be any paper that you choose to use. It's going to be your box you're creating, so go with it. And then you're also going to need a piece of either coordinating or the same cardstock or designer series paper that measures 4.5 by 4.5. So you definitely need that. You're also going to need, and I used, if you're going to make a box like I'm making today, you will also need 2.5 by 2.5 square of white cardstock. Now we're going to manipulate this into another form of that white. You also need another, so you need 5 of these, 5 of these. And then also you need 5 2.5 by 2.5 squares of the designer paper that coordinates with your cardstock here. And then I also cut 5 of these 1.5 inch by 2.5 inch strips, and this is to decorate the lid. So what I wanted to do is to, and then if you have, if you have a border dies, you're going to want to use that as well. And then I also, when I did my stamping, did use the cherry cobbler. But you can, you're going to vary this depending on how you want to decorate your box, right? Now I also used the Merriest Moment stamp set. I used the Thinking of You This Festive Season sentiment, but you could definitely use any of these for your boxes, and I'm going to show you how I use this poinsettia on another box in a minute. So I use this as well. All right, so I think I've shared everything with you. Oh, I did also use some of these like snowmen that are dressed up festively. And the reason I used those is because they were in my stash. And I'm happy to say that once I created all these squares, I only have 2 more of these left. So I've had them for a very, very long time. I think they're like 2 or 3 years old. So it feels good to have used them because I try not to throw anything away. I mean, obviously there are some things that are so small you don't keep, but you know, these are cute. So anyway, I used them up. Point is, I used them up. All right. I also had some Christmas trees. We had a hole punch that made Christmas trees, and it's also been retired, but I had some of these left over, and so I did use one of these. So it just feels good to use them up, I have to say. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to put this away, and let's go ahead and work on this 7.5 by 7.5 square. Now we're going to need, in order to make, this is going to become the base of our box, so it's going to become this part of the box. So we need to manipulate it a little. So we're going to take the 7.5 by 7.5 and we're going to put it on our trimmer. Now I want to share this trimmer with you. This is my trimmer and it's a workhorse. I mean, I just use it all the time. It has a clear guide and it has 2 blades on it, a cutting blade and a scoring blade. And so it's like 2 functions with 1 tool. Perfect. It has measurements at the top, at the bottom, and in the middle. And it has lines that can guide you on your cutting and scoring. It has this beautiful arm that reaches out to 17 inches. So those of us that are scrapbookers, we have the availability to, maybe this is easier. We have the availability to use this arm to cut our paper. And if you're using the designer series paper that comes in a 12 by 12, which this is the one I used on my box to decorate. This started out as a 12 by 12. So obviously this trimmer was great as far as enabling me to cut that paper down. Now we're going to take our 7.5 by 7.5 and we're going to score it at 2.5. So we'll line it up with the 2.5 and you'll see these lines here. So if you make sure that your paper's on that line, you're going to get a straight score. We're going to use this light gray blade and we're just going to I like to score twice, and that's just because when your eyes get older, you need to make sure that you can see those score lines. And so we're going to do this on all 4 sides. And let's see here. Now this trimmer you can find in my online store. If you don't have a trimmer and you want to make this project, you certainly could use a ruler and any sharp object that would give you that score line. All right, and we're done. Oh, one more side, sorry. Okay, so now we've scored all those lines. I'm going to go ahead and score the box top, because then I can be done with my trimmer and just kind of move it out of the way. Now this is that 4.5 by 4.5, and we're going to score this at 1 inch on all 4 sides. So here we go with that. Let's see here. Okay, you also could, if you have a trimmer and don't have this particular trimmer and you have a scoreboard, you could definitely use that too. All right, so I believe that we are finished for now with our trimmer. Now let's go ahead, and we've got these ready. Let's go ahead and do some stamping, because once we do the stamping, then it's just going to be easier. So I'm going to take this square that I have, and actually it's part, oh no, here it is. Here's a leftover 2.5 by 2.5. You can also use, if you wanted to, the insert, and I haven't showed you what that means, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. Let's just do that, and then we'll move on. So I'm using my cherry cobbler. And you can, again, you can use any color you want. It's up to you, right? Now, I do like to, I've been using my cherry cobbler a lot, so I am going to go ahead and stamp this stamp just to make sure. See how it's kind of light here? So I was, oh, and I just stuck my finger in the ink. So I just like to make sure that it's going to stamp, that I've got ink everywhere I need. So I'm going to go ahead and try this now. I'm going to try and get this in the middle. And let's see here. I think we're good. And there we have it. So we've stamped that middle. Now we're going to put this to the side, and I'm going to clean off my stamp, because I like to do that right when I'm finished with the stamp, because then I don't have to remember later on, and then it's clean when I go to use it. Now I did just clean this, but I don't be afraid when your polymer stamps get stained, because any ink that has a red pigment is going to stain them. But this is definitely clean, and you can see there's no ink on it, but it is stained. So it's clean, but just remember that. You can always tell when a stamp has been well loved, because it's a little stained. All right, so we are finished with the cherry cobbler ink. And now we're going to, I wanted to share something else with you. So when I had these 2.5 by 2.5 white pieces of cardstock, I took my 2.5 by 2.5 square die, and I ran these through the die cutting machine. So I cut out 5 of these like little frames. I'm going to use them when I decorate this piece, I'm going to use this as a frame, right? And so that's how that works with that. Now, I also used this die. I used it on some scraps of white cardstock, and I just laid it like this and ran it through my die cutting machine, and I got some strips that looked like snow, like the formation of snow on the ground. And so these are also clouds, right? But I used it for the snow, and then we're going to use, I'll show you later how I used them to decorate these squares. But I wanted to tell you where the 2x2 piece of white card, the 5 of them, pieces of white cardstock went. And then this would have been the middle. Now, don't throw away your middle parts because you can use these for a variety of reasons, okay, or ways. And there also, it could be something you stamped instead of the bigger one. So, so just keep these. All right, so let's move on. So we're going to be working on our box. So this is the base of the box. We're going to go ahead and secure those fold lines. Now remember, we scored at 2.5 by 2.5. So what happens is these score lines will give us 8 little 2.5 squares. Now we want to make that box. So obviously we have to do something with this to make that box, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut up that score line up to the intersecting score line. And we're going to do that here and here and here and here. And I've already done that, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And I just did that to save time because, you know, you can figure out how to cut, right? So here's what your end product would look like. And here's how this box is going to work. So we're going to, in the end, we're going to fold up the 2 sides, fold this side over, and then fold this side over. And what happens is it gives it a nice little box, right? Okay, so these are the sides that are going to be showing, so we're going to want to decorate them. Before we get to decorating the outside, though, we did stamp a little message inside, right? So I don't think it really matters where you put it necessarily, because when this all falls, I mean, whether you put it this way or this way, I don't really think it matters. I'm just going to go ahead and put it this way. And the reason I say I don't think it matters is because once it falls, it just falls, right? But I did want to just kind of decorate this a little bit. And so what I did was, I also had some holly. And so I thought, well, this would be kind of cute just to decorate it like this, right? And so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take a glue dot. And I'm going to go ahead and place that right there just because it gives it a little bit of decoration. And then I'm going to take my silicone mat. I love this silicone mat because, you know, liquid glue is not really my friend, but there's sometimes that works better, and we're going to see that with the lid, than some of our other adhesives, just because it allows some manipulation. But for this, I don't really need to manipulate it, so I'm going to use the adhesive that I like the best, which is my Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to go ahead and place my sentiment right here in the middle. Sometimes I have to move this a little so I can make sure I get it in the middle, and it's a little more difficult when you let's see here. Okay. All right, so we can see that doesn't impede the sides folding. Now we're going to turn it over because if you remember, we had this going on, right? So these 3 sides are the sides we're going to want to decorate, than this one. And so we're going to go ahead and decorate it now. It is much easier to decorate it when it is flat than once it is a box. And then when you put the lid on, it covers a little bit. You can see it covers a little bit. So just easier to do it now. Now remember I told you I took the white. Actually, it shows up better on here, doesn't it? I took the white and made a frame. So then I also took the white cardstock and made like some snow. So what I did was I glued the snow like on this piece of paper, and then I just put the frame over it. Well, so that's kind of bare. I mean, it's okay in itself, but here's what I did. I added some snowmen. And what I like about this particular designer series paper is it looks, you can see the snowflakes, right? And it's kind of like a variegating color, like you maybe would have even done your Stampin' Blends or something with this, but it looks like snow. And so whatever you're decorating, you know, you use your imagination, but I was using or thinking this could look like an outdoor winter scene. And so that's when I used those snowmen that I've had in my stash and the die to make the snow bank, and then I just did the frame. So we're going to go ahead and decorate our box. Now remember that this is going to be the bottom. This is what sits on the bottom. So if we decorate it this way, we're going to have an upside down snowman. So we're going to decorate it this way. Now at this point you can use your glue, or you can use your Stampin' Seal. I'm going to use the glue because I want to make sure that my decorated part is in the middle, and I'll have a little bit of choice to move that around. And I just kind of, so here are all the ones that I did. We're going to make one. Here you and I are going to make one. We're going to make this one with the frame in just a minute. But as I decorate, I'm trying to think how, you know, I don't want two of the same, and I didn't actually have two of the same, so it doesn't really matter. I wanted to have different images on different squares. So let's just move this over, and I do like to move these up so that I can make sure I'm not okay, so let's see here. I think that works. Let's see. Why I keep lifting these up is because I don't want this to go over the score line, because then your box doesn't close so good. Okay, there we go. There's that one. And then we're going to do two more. And while we have this, I'm going to stop and do that because I want it to dry. So here's that frame that I saved to share with you. And this is going to go on the top of my box. But I'm going to go ahead and do it now so that that glue can dry. And I'm going to take my reverse scissors. Now we don't have this reverse scissors. I don't know why I said scissors. Tweezers. We don't have this particular reverse tweezer in our catalog, but we do have a very good set of reverse tweezers in the catalog. It comes along with the Score Buddy, and it's so perfect because it's helpful when you need to hold on to those small objects. And also, if I was holding on to this, and this, I'm getting better. I'm kind of proud of myself. I always have like a little issue with using too much glue. So these tweezers are perfect because I can hold on to them and not get glue all over my hands. And I'm getting better at not using too much glue too. All right, so then I just go ahead and glue that on here. The other thing is if you have anything you need to touch up, if you do this ahead like this, then because see there's a little bit I want to touch up, then you have that opportunity to do that before you go putting it on your item. All right, so that's going to go on the top of the box. Let's go ahead and finish here. Guess I don't need this for right now. Okay, and then we're going to do this square as well. Oh no, I'm going to have to clean that up. I can't believe I just did that. All right, and then I'm going to have to quickly clean my hands with a little hand sanitizer. Usually helps to get that sticky off. Or else I'll be sticking to every piece of thing I hold. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so then we have this one too, and that's going to go that way. Oh my gosh. Now when you do get glue on something like that, once it dries, we're going to take our little eraser and rub it on here, and it'll take that right off. So these erasers, I've had mine for a long time. I think you can get them at probably any craft store, I would think, that has stamps and ink. And it just looks like this. You can also get them on Amazon. They just are really good about picking up that sticky stuff, because we don't want the sticky stuff on there, because it will make the box, keep the box closed, right? Okay. So there we go, we're good with that. Now, so what will happen is our box will, these will go up, right? This will go in, and these will go around. And now you have a nice little decorated box. So what's going to keep this together is going to be the lid. So let's work on that lid now. And remember, this is the lid that we scored at 1 inch on all 4 sides. So we're going to go ahead and varnish those fold lines. Now, unlike the base of box that we just created, we are going to need to give it some square corners. And so to do that, we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut up those score lines. We're going to make 4 cuts. So we're going to cut up to the intersecting score line. So there it is. I like to make sure that, you know, it's even and not too short. And then each tab, that's what we just created. This is a tab. We're going to miter the sides, and that is just to take away the bulk. So then we're going to do this other side all the way up to that intersection line. We'll fold this part back and go ahead and miter. And then we're going to turn it 180, and we're going to do the same thing to this side that we just did on the other side. We're going to go ahead and do that. I like to fold this in so that I can miter those edges. You don't need a whole lot, just a little bit so it takes the bulk out. I didn't cut that very good. Let's see here. Okay. Do the same with this. So you're actually cutting it at an angle. Okay, we'll get rid of this. And then what we're going to do is now, again, with this, we won't need those scissors now. Again, with this, we want to decorate it before we put it together, right? So I'm going to take that square that we just created, and I'm going to put it right here. I'm just cleaning it up because I see I missed some. And I just like the frame because it doesn't have any like raw edges, and that's why I was cleaning it up. It's kind of defeats the purpose if you have things sticking up. So let's see, I need to bring this closer to me so that I can get this where I want it. Okay, now remember I cut these 1 inch by 2.5 inches. They're going to fit right here. So let's go ahead and put these on now too. Why am I doing that? So that I can see where I'm putting my strip here. Now, if these are too long, and I can see that they're going to be, but I wanted to make sure I had them long enough, and I didn't want them the whole area here. I just wanted them to kind of decorate. Then I can go back and cut these off with my scissors. But let's go ahead and finish decorating. So let's see here. I have and also keep in mind this designer series paper is double-sided, so I want to stay consistent with the same side, the same. Oop, there we go. All right, we're getting done here. Good thing. All right, so while I'm doing this, just keep in mind, like I said before, you can use any designer series paper, any paper that you have that you want to decorate your box with. And you can also, so these are great little boxes if you wanted to make one for like Mother's Day. You could just change up the paper. You know, maybe a flower or even butterflies are nice to decorate with too. So a designer series paper that has maybe butterflies, that would be something you could do too. Now I am going to go and make sure, I'm going to make sure that all my paper is not sticking out. So let's just, I just want to clip this off. It's a good time to make sure everything is how I want it. Okay. All right. So then we're going to, obviously we need to make a cube with this, right? I mean a lid. So we're going to take our glue. I definitely should use my silicone mat because the glue won't stick on the silicone mat. It'll keep my work surface sticky free. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to hold it for a moment. Then we're going to put glue on this side as well. And make that corner. And do the same on this side. So you can see how this is coming together, how it's going to end up being a lid. And you do have to kind of hold. The beauty of this glue is that once it doesn't dry instantly, it does dry quickly, but it would give you time if you needed to manipulate a little bit. So sometimes we don't, when we put things down, we don't get them absolutely perfect the first time, right? So we need that little forgiveness. Okay, so now we have made our lid and we made our box. So let's bring that out. We'll get everything off of here so we can see it. So here's our box. So again, we have the image. Now, for this particular box, what I am going to do, and I see I want to trim some stuff here. I am not going to put candy. I'm going to put a couple other things in here. Okay, so the sides go in, up, this side goes over, and this side goes over. And now we have our box and our lid. Now your lids are going to be a little bit tight fitting, and that's, there's a reason for that, and that is if they're going to keep the sides up, they have to be a little tight, right? And I didn't secure those, so good point. You're seeing all my faux pas today, which maybe is a good thing. You need to secure down these tabs because if they're flipping up, it won't let your box slide in there. All right, here we go again. There we go. All right, so then your, you know, you can put together your boxes together at this point. If you wanted to put ribbon or something on it, you definitely could do that. However you want to finish it off is just up to you, right? All right, so we made this box together. This is the box I showed you at first. Here's another variation of a box I made. Now, you know, this is, I think this is pretty. I used some old meaning that this glitter paper, it's almost like a cardboard on the back. It's very, very, very strong. But I used this up, and then the cherry cobbler, and then I used that stamp, the poinsettia from the stamp set here, and I just layered it, and then just the gold ribbon. Now, I will tell you that, let me see if I will tell you that I would not give this, oh, I have the ribbon on it. I would not give this box to someone who is in the hospital or in a retirement home because they do frown on the glitter. But this is going to go to someone that is okay. They don't have a pacemaker. They're not ill at this time, so it'll be okay. And I do think it's very pretty. I used the brush metallic dots to decorate that poinsettia. But I'm just showing you different ways that you can decorate the box so that it works for you. Here's another one. So same box, right? Same box. This is out of Night of Navy, and I used some old designer series paper. This is about a year old. I just had a 6x6 square left, and so I used it up. And then what I did is I just cut some squares from the leftover paper, and I just cut the squares and kind of put them as a diamond shape. The other thing I did is I took some leftover Night of Navy, because you'll have a little leftover, and I wanted to use it up, right? So I made these loops by just taking the strip. It's a 5 by 1 inch strips, and I took one end and curled it over and secured the curl with some tear tape, so it gives it like a loop. And then the tail, I put the tails together of all 4 of these loops, and I just put a brad through the middle, and then I used a sticky dot to secure it in the middle. So it looks like a bow, right? All right, so these are all boxes you could use for gifts. But there is another variation I wanted to show you. And this, I'm not sure that I would necessarily call it an explosion box, because to me, it's like a memory box. And so, again, remember I told you, you can decorate how you might want, however your imagination allows you. But you can also create these boxes for different things. Like you could do Mother's Day, you could do Valentine's Day. This is a little bit of a bigger box, and you're going to see on the website when you go to get the directions, this is going to be called a memory box. So you're going to have 3 boxes within one box, and I'll show you why. So I used some of that paper again that is, you know, has retired. I want to use it up. And so I used that as the top, and then I just cut out some stars with my star dies, and then another frame. Now I am going to put the person's name here. I have some alphabet dies, and I'm going to put their name, but I didn't want to do that because I'm not sure that they really want their name here on the video. But so anyway, when you take the lid off, then these fall down, and guess what this is for? I'm going to put photos on each 4 of these sides. Now you could put the photos here or even decorate them on these sides if you wanted to. But if I just do it the way I'm planning, I'll now have availability of 4 photos that I can embellish. And then if I take the lid off of this, I'll have 4 more. So that's 8 photos that I can embellish. And you may wonder why, if I was going to decorate this, and I may slightly decorate it, but not too much, because I don't want to create the bulk, or the lid that fits on top is going to have an issue, right? All right, and then if we take off this lid, we have 4 more. And so here, you can see they're graduating sizes, right? And they're tacked down. So the nice thing about it is it gives you a lot of availability. So I'm thinking, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do in the middle. I was thinking about doing some journaling in the middle. I was thinking about, you know, this is for my brother. I was thinking about putting his baby picture here. But it just does I will decide that when I get all the pictures ready to go. Now, my other siblings have sent me pictures, so we can include that. So it will depend on, I'm waiting for one more picture. So it will depend on if I get that picture or not. But I want to have this done within the next, I want to say 7 days, so that I can get it in the mail to my brother. But the options are just numerous here. So then when he's ready, after he's looked at it, he can just put it all back together. And all those photos are there for him to look at. Now, I'll tell you something I learned as I've been scrapbooking for a long time, is that not everybody gets super excited with scrapbooks or photo albums. It's something that happens in time. But all of us like to look at our past, you know, at some point in our life, and we like to look back at those memories, because pictures are just that, right? It's a recording of a memory. So yeah, so this is a photo box that you can, it's the same design or same theory as these explosion boxes. So again, I just want to invite you to go to ritaspapermotif.com. There on the blog, you'll find all the directions for these boxes. They will be up by tomorrow afternoon, and then you can manipulate them however you want. If there's an item that you saw today that you don't have that you'd like to purchase, then just click shop now, and you can definitely purchase it from my online store. I do appreciate your business. I appreciate when you hit the like buttons. I appreciate when you subscribe. All of those things are very positive, and they are just good, what they used to call warm fuzzies that keep us going, right? So, you know, I showed you how to create the box, and you can definitely make your own. And I would love to see what you create. So if you create a box like this and you'd like to share it, you can share it on Instagram or even Facebook. Just use hashtag Christmas Fair 2022 and I'll be able to see it. And then any of your comments, please leave me a comment. I love to go back and read them. And maybe if you have some ideas that I didn't bring forward, that's great to share too, because we learn from each other. So thank you so much for spending the time with me today. And I hope I'll see you back in a few days with another project. But definitely go see some of the other projects that are on other platforms. So again, have a great day and thank you for joining me. Bye now.